Eileo guys, and welcome back. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Ginger Cookie, which is our newest mon in general, and also our new Christmas exotic. Hopefully these mons can replace the lovely Snowy here and Rudolph, but stay tuned and find out with me. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so I literally just logged into the game, updated everything, so I just want to take a look at Ginger Cookie's design here real quick, just because it's obviously just a cookie here, and they kept the same theme going on of where it's like this kind of monster, like not really like an object type thing, and then usually in the third form is kind of more humanoid, and it looks like the Nutcracker doll may be a male or female. It doesn't really matter though because it's a cookie, but I'm implying with those cheeks right there that it's just a girl with like a fake mustache on. Doesn't really matter because we're going to see the back of her head here, and let's go ahead and take a look at her stat wise though. I think her design is lovely though. It's nice to see some detail being added in there, and they kept it small and it's not too busy in my opinion. I haven't seen her animations yet, but so far I'm digging the design here. But anyways, we have Fire Ginger Cookie, I guess Fire Ginger, who's a defender type coming in with 26k HP, 2k attack, and then 3k defense here. So Nat 3, exotic, meaning you can only capture it during its exotic festival. Stats are okay, nothing extravagant here. Let's take a look at the skills though. So for its 3-star skill, it has Shield Breaker, which grants 100% chance to dispel the enemy's shield. And then for the 5-star skill, it's Buff Breaker, which grants 100% chance to dispel all enemies' enhancements. I can't say that I'm surprised here. Not at all. Not all of these mods are going to be good. I will be very pressed for luck if even 2 of these are good. But as long as 1 is good, then I'm okay with this. But Shield Breaker and Buff Breaker means that this mon's job is just dispelling any type of buffs that are going on here. Now, in terms of something like the Nat 3 League, I guess you could bring a Shield Breaker in there, but I'm not sure why you would waste your entire mon slot bringing this monster in there. In PvE situations, one of the Colossus does a shield if I remember correctly, so it could be useful there, but Water Bulby exists all the same, and I think Water Bulby actually promotes doing damage to whatever monster that you're fighting here. And other than that, maybe Tower of Chaos. I'm not sure how spicy the Fire Tower of Chaos is, but I know with Fire Draka, it's like, yeah, I have Shield Breaker and Buff Breaker, but if not, I can just spam my 2 or 8 million Fire Drakas and do puncture. So this mod is purely for debuffing, but even with that stat distribution and books right here, which do nothing but boost up its abysmal 2k attack stat for damage with 30% for Shield Breaker and Buff Breaker, this one is purely for the Asher Guide unless you guys have some type of big brain idea of where you can use this mod at, but it is what it is. Moving forward here though, we have Water Ginger, who's a defender type, coming in with 27k HP, 2k attack, and then 3k defense. It's like, isn't this the same thing as everything else here? Like, what's going on, man? What's up with the stat distribution here? But let's go and take a look at the skills though. So for its 3-star and 5-star skill, it's defense down with a 70% chance for 2 turns on both the 3 and 5-star skill slot. So this is essentially just the water version of fire candling here. So this could be useful for newer players if you are requiring defense down on the 3-star skill. But of course there's mods like Shelly which have a reliable defense down because it's 100% chance for the 3-star skill, farmable 24/7 365 days out of the year for MSL, while this one is pretty much bound to this event only until probably next Christmas here. Book wise though, the 3-star defense down receives a 20% damage boost and goes to 80%, and then the 5-star defense down receives a 20% damage boost and goes up to 75%. Books aren't bad with it at all, and once again, even though it's applying defense down, which is a debuff, with the stat distribution being, you know, 2k attack stat and a 3k defense stat with some decent HP, there's really no way for you to build this mon with tons of damage here. And from memory, this seems very similar to another water mon. Maybe I'm just crazy, but I feel like another water mon has this same exact setup and is equally as useful as this mon will be. Because the thing with defense down is if you need it, especially like as you begin the game, that's fine. But as you go on through the game, you find out that, okay, I do need defense down, but I need it paired with something else. Or if I'm running defense down, we have access to Water Mona, which is free to farm out. You can super evo her if you want, but she applies defense down anyways. So it's really just a very niche situation in which this could be very, very useful in, at least in my opinion. I mean, there's the Elemental Tower of Chaos. Would I bring this in PvP? Absolutely not. I wouldn't bring pretty much any mon with defense down unless their other skill was like super duper spicy. So it's rough pickings here. This isn't anything game breaking. This isn't anything astonishing, but at the very end of the day, it's for the Astro Guide for sure. And then moving on past that though, we do have Wood Ginger here, who's a tank type coming in with 36k HP, 1.7k attack, and then 1.8k defense. Oh my goodness, man. You know Smart Study was freaking smiling with this dude. When you're a tank type and your recovery stat is higher than your defense stat, that is just, oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness. So already in like a PvE situation, regardless of skills, it's just like, why would you use this? Why would you use this? But let's take a look at these skills here. So for its 3-star skill, it has Barbed Taunt, which performs a counterattack proportional to the damage received for 1 turn, and grants an 80% chance to draw enemies' attention for 1 turn. And then for the 5-star skill, it has an 80% chance to apply stun for 1 turn, which I failed to mention. Ginger is an AoE type monster, at least indicating from its active skill, so that's good to know, because I kind of messed up on the last mirror review, because it turns out that Dark Mirror was a scam because attack up only applies to itself. So make sure you guys read. I got to make sure that I read too, so I don't put out any misguiding information here. But Barbed Taunt and Stun isn't a bad duo here. I'm interested to see how books are going to perform with that. I will say, without like the Nat 3 League benefit here, oh my goodness, Barbed Taunt, yeah, Barbed Taunt is going to be doing some damage. That mon is going to get just destroyed, dude. But we can see here with books, Barbed Taunt receives a 15% damage boost. It goes up to, what was that, 90%? And it goes to 2 turns. Okay. And then Stun receives a 20% damage boost, and it goes up by 20%. So it's a 100% chance to stun the enemy for 1 turn. I was hoping that the stun wouldn't really increase in activation rate, but instead go to 2 turns. But I understand because it's a Nat 3 here. So my thoughts here with this mon is that you could use it in a Nat 3 League. It would have performed slightly better in my opinion if that stun was extended out to 2 turns versus having 100% 1 turn. But we all can't have everything that we want here, so I would be very, very interested in seeing how it would perform in a Nat 3 League with the stat boost here. But outside of that, I can't really think of anywhere you would use this at, just because the stats are just abysmal. Like, I understand that it's a tank type, meaning it should have excessive amounts of HP, which its HP stat is acceptable, but with your defense being that low, it's almost like I just want to run this HP defense because my defense is very, very low, even if you add trinkets and stuff in there too. So its usage is kind of limited, especially with it being a more defensive type mon. You can't really use it for utility. It's there just to soak up damage and prevent the enemy from acting. So yeah. Alright, following in after that though, we do have Light Ginger here. Light Ginger is a defender type, coming in with nearly 30k HP, 2.1k attack, and then 3.1k defense. And it's just like, bro, we've literally had like the same stat distribution, you know, plus or minus minor percents here for 3 of these Astromon with like the exact same typing. What the heck's going on here, dude? Like, this is a Nat 4. I'm not saying the stats should be super duper spicy, but it literally just says like RGB stats with it, with a little bit more HP. Like, why are you guys doing Ginger dirty like this? She's new, she should be OP, but they're like, you know what? She's just here to collect and take up room inside of your mod box, man. But let's take a look at her skills though. So for her 3-star skill, she has Exposed Weakness, which grants an 80% chance to expose the enemy's weakness for 2 turns. And then for the 5-star skill, it's Defense Down, 70% chance for 3 turns. Okay, skill-wise, like, the potency of these skills and their duration, I think, is pretty good here. So Exposed Weakness is basically setting you up for damage, and Defense Down is also setting you up for damage. And with it being a defender type, obviously survivability is the main selling point here, which it should be fine at. Maybe not extravagant, but it should be fine at. So this is pretty much a dedicated debuffer here. In terms of exposed weakness, obviously you could use that in places like Colossus, depending on what you're fighting. You could potentially use this in the dimensional dungeon as well, depending on your gem quality or your setup, but obviously like dedicated courageous strikers that have debuffs in their moveset already, or like Minicat, etc., would just be better in general here. But this does provide some utility. Elemental Tower of Chaos, it could be potentially used there too. I'm not saying that it is, because I won't lie to you guys, I stopped around like floor like 50, 60 of the Elemental Tower of Chaos, just because after logging into the game, doing dailies, doing PvP, doing the dimensional dungeon, doing the freaking Colossus, running golems for a little bit, doing Titans battles, going over there to clan versus clan. After all of that stuff, for right now, I just been like, I just don't care. It will still be there, but right now I'm just like, yeah, dude, I'm just hanging out. I don't care about these Elemental Tower of Chaos dungeons. I'll get to it at some point in time, so don't quote me too much on the Elemental Tower of Chaos comment. It's just purely speculation here. But outside of that, though, in a PvP situation, when I bring this mon in there, probably not. I guess you could throw it in clan versus clan, especially for newer players if this is all that you have, but it really depends on your other team composition to see if exposed weakness goes off faster than what other mons are there for, because if it's very slow, it could result in it not being really taken advantage of until the next turn, or if it's really fast, there could be a mon that you don't want to steal the exposed weakness, stealing it. So testing is involved to see how well this would suit you, and I'm not sure in a Titan situation how well that would suit you, because I do feel like this kit is usable. Obviously her variant skill isn't anything gracious at all, even though it says Grace of Life. But with testing, I think this could potentially be used, but until that's validated, just take what I say with a grain of salt here. And book-wise though, exposed weakness receives a 20% damage boost, and it goes up to 90% for 2 turns. And defense down receives a 20% damage boost as well, and that goes up to 80% for 3 turns. So books on Light Ginger are actually pretty solid. It's just, we just got a pinpoint of where she could be really useful at, and worst case scenario, they could always change her skills later and she could be a lot better than what she is now. So make sure you at least hold on to the light and dark versions of these Ashramons for any future changes. Alright you guys, so last but not least here, we do have Dark Ginger, who's an attacker type, coming in with 27k HP, 3.2k attack, nearly 3.3k, and then 2.3k defense here. So once again, nothing extravagant, pretty average distribution of stats here, and with it being a dark type and also an attacker, you could potentially benefit from getting that additional crit rate up there because of the innate 50% crit damage boost that Dark Mons have over the RGB and light types, meaning if they crit, they hit harder than all the other types here, and that black looks pretty darn clean, man. But let's take a look at the skills though. So for its 3-star skill, it has morale boost, which grants 100% chance to restore 30% of its own SP, meaning you don't have to really rely on orbs in order to get to the 5-star skill, and its SP production is solely reliant on it acting, which is always a good thing here. And then for the 5-star skill, we have Persevere, which increases your attack as turn passes and stacks up to 8 turns. Now, the jury's still out in Persevere. I've talked about trying it out, I just haven't yet. Don't judge me yet, but I'm not sure how I feel about this, because in one way it's like I can get to my 5-star skill fairly quickly, but if the wave resets, then also my damage resets. So in a PvE scenario, unless it's like the Elemental Tower of Chaos here, running Persevere isn't optimal for wave clearing because your damage resets with every single wave. In a PvP situation, depending on your composition, this could be really good. Like I know a mon like Dark Sandwraith, because it has SP Siphon I believe, and Persevere is always recommended to newer players and even like mid-game players, because not only do you have the utility of crowd control with the SP Siphon on its 3-star skill, but with the 5-star skill you have Persevere, meaning as long as he can survive, he can pretty much nuke anything in any given duration here. It will take some creativity to put this to use here. I'm not going to go ahead and say, oh, it has Persevere, it's automatically trash. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that I don't have the answer to this question here. Do I think this mon has potential? Obviously, any mon has potential at any part of the game, depending on how well they are gemmed and how you decide to use them with each turn that you get here. But I will say I was a little bit let down going over here and seeing Persevere up here, because this could, at the very minimum, just been another generic morale boost and hunter type mon. At least it would definitely have a lot more use than what it has here. But until I like get in the nitty gritty and like decide to grind out Persevere and see where I could potentially use it at in the best situation here, the only place I can recommend it is PvP, whether that's in clan versus clan or actually player versus player. Something tells me that I won't be seeing Dark Ginger at the top of the leaderboards for PvP unless Ancient Angel decides to make that the meta here. Book-wise though, Morale Boost receives a 25% damage boost, and it goes up to 35% for the SP regeneration, and then Persevere also receives a 25% damage boost, so nothing extravagant here. I was hoping for some spice. We got some salt and some pepper. That's what I'm going to say. We didn't get anything bland, but we didn't get anything to like make you sneeze or make you, you know, with the sniffles here. But that is the Ginger review. I think the design is awesome. Some of these could have just been better. I'm not a big fan of all of these mons being defender types and being extremely niche, unfortunately, and I was hoping that something would be better than Snowy, and I will say that they are better than Snowy, but not by much. But anyways, feel free to leave in the comments below about what you guys think about Ginger. I'm personally going to try and get all of these mons for the Astro Guide. Will I use them outside of that? Worst case scenario, Light and Dark are going to go for World Boss, and that's pretty much it. The RGB I'll end up releasing, and I'll just keep Light and Dark because they could be tweaked in the future and would maybe interesting on like the casual account if I decide to keep it and kind of build it for the Nat 3 League, because I don't have access to mons with Barb Taunt at this point in time, or at least that I can think of. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and yeah, see ya.